exactly what is the rotator cuff? The rotator cuff is made of 4 main muscles that originate actually on your scapula. Everybody's like, oh, but my pain is here. But the thing is, the actual muscles originate from back here. So this is looking at the back of the shoulder blade area. So we have a muscle here, we have several muscles here, and then we also have a rotator cuff muscle on the inside of the shoulder blade. So all these muscles together insert onto your shoulder humerus bone here. And they're imperative because without any of those shoulder rotator cuff muscles, you wouldn't be able to do lots of activities with your shoulder. Rotator cuff muscles provide the stability in your shoulder and allow your shoulder to move in all those different directions. The rotator cuff muscles are usually pretty weak because people don't normally strengthen those smaller muscle groups. People will focus a lot on your deltoids and doing arm raises, front raises, all those kinds of things, biceps, but they forget about the small rotator muscles. So it's pretty common when we see patients, they think they are super strong, but when we check their rotator cuff muscles, some of the smaller muscles, they're noticeably weak. So it's something that we can work on. So like I said, we can't change the structure of bone, but we can strengthen the support system. And by strengthening that support system, it will give the opportunity for the joint to move in a more pain-free or less painful manner. So besides working on strengthening of that rotator cuff, we want to work on some posture. It's pretty common that when these muscles where your rotator cuff are, they attach here, these muscles are weak. You notice the shoulders kind of round forward like that, and that's because these are weak and your pec muscles here are tight. So we want to stretch out your pec muscles. We want to strengthen the back of your shoulder where all those rotator cuff muscles are. And what that's going to do is it's going to take this guy from being all the way here and pulling it back into the center of the joint. And that's going to improve your ability to actually move the shoulder joint because it's back in the center. This bone should technically be centered in this joint. So when you're having issues with the rotator cuff muscles being weak, typically you will notice worse posturing, more forwarding movement of the shoulder here, rolling forward. And so part of the issue is trying to strengthen and work on posture and strengthening of those rotator cuff muscles so the mechanics of this joint are correct, and that will also bring you less pain. The other thing that PT does is that we can actually move your arm and work on things that you can't do on your own. So what we do is a lot of joint mobility, where we actually get our hands on the joint and we actually move them in ways to improve the mobility of that arm bone on that shoulder so that you can increase the range of motion. The other thing is some soft tissue restrictions. Like I said, if you have some pain from having a tight pec muscle, sometimes people get some tightness in the back here. We can dig in there and get that out for you so that you can tolerate the exercises better and then get to the point where you're not having soft tissue restrictions, and then you just need to work on exercises to actually stabilize that joint. So it's really important, if you're having pain and you're hearing these noises, that give us a call and let us know, and we can get you in for an evaluation.